Yeah, it's working. Okay, I'm going to shoot a 5-minute video here, and I'm going to show you the differences between a real Gibson, like this one, and like this one, and a fake Gibson. First thing you look at when you're dealing with a $2,000, $3,000 guitar is the case that it's coming in. And this is absolutely not a Gibson guitar case on any level whatsoever. That's the first thing you want to look at, the quality of the case. Now, I'm going to pop this out. I'll move that case out of the way. Thank you, Nick. The first thing that I noticed with this guitar, the second we opened up the case, was the shape. It's just wrong. Notice on this one here, it's a nice gentle curve. The curve starts right at the neck. This one here, it's totally different. It comes out straight and then starts to bend down. The horn, the cutout here, is the wrong angle as well. Again, you can see there's a huge difference there. The next thing I look for with a fake Gibson is the bridge, because this is one of the things that the manufacturers in China have not addressed yet at all. If you notice here, the placement of this knob is slightly down from the center of the bridge, of the stop tail. On the fake Chinese guitars, it's slightly above center. The distance from here to here is longer on the Chinese guitars than it is on the USA made guitars. That's one of the tells, and none of the manufacturers have fixed that yet out of China. The next thing I look for is the bridge. Specifically, these pins here. On every single Gibson product, they have a solid pin and a wheel for raising and lowering the bridge. They are like that on every single one. And every single Chinese one that I've seen so far, they look like this. They've got the slots right there for a screwdriver to raise it up and down, a lot like the Epiphone guitars. That is not a Gibson bridge. Now, a lot of these things too are being swapped out, because you can buy one of those for 65, 70 bucks, and but they'll always come with that originally out of China. The next thing I look for is the input jack. Typically, that is what Gibson's going to give you. That one's brass. Some of them are stainless steel, but it's a good solid piece of metal. It's good material, and that's what you can expect out of Gibson. And what you can expect out of China is a piece of plastic. It doesn't look good. It's low quality, and that's what you would expect to find on a $200 or $300 guitar. And that's what these things are. The next thing I look at is the binding. And this is where it gets interesting with the Chinese knockoffs, because recently there's a couple of factories in China that have changed this. They are now offering this as an option. Gibson, where is it? Right there. You can see the nub where over the frets the binding goes up to the edge of the fret. And on the Chinese knockoffs, you don't get that. That's what you get. Up until just recently, because now a couple of the factories are offering that as an option. It's one of the things I've picked up on. The other part of that is Gibson, in their wisdom, stopped doing the nubs in 2015. They've gone back to it for the 2016 models, but it is one of the things I always question. So it's something to look at. Some other things with the binding. That is the proper cream colored binding, and the stuff out of China, it's going to be very, very white. There's going to be flaws in it. It's just not going to look right. That's not coming out of the Gibson shop. There's no way. Up here, that is not Gibson binding. That's not the way Gibson does it at all. So watch out for that with these Chinese guitars. If you see something looking like this, if it doesn't look good, it's Chinese garbage. The serial number and the stamps. This is what they look like. Nick, can I get you to pick up the other one there, please? It's stamped into the back of the guitar, but it's not stamped in very deep at all. The Made in USA, it's very faint. That's the way Gibson does it. You run your finger along that, you can feel the imprint, but it's not very deep at all. The Chinese ones look like this. You get a great big huge bold Made in USA. They want that right in your face, and you run your fingers across the numbers here. This has been stamped really deeply into the wood, and all the Chinese guitars are like that. That's not how Gibson does it. Sticking with the headstock for a minute, the shape here is just off. It's not, it looks close, but it's not quite the way Gibson does it. I'll try and get them both in there. Gibson, the top of this headstock is not nearly as deep a cut as the top of this one is. I'm going to go back to the other one again. Take a look at the top, and then take a look at this. There's a definite difference there. And as far as the neck, the inlays are concerned, this is real mother of pearl. It's almost got a bit of a dirty look to it. It's not bright and white. That's not what mother of pearl looks like. Mother of pearl is supposed to be a little faded and a little bit dirty looking almost. That's what the material looks like. This is a piece of plastic. That is not anything other than plastic. Looks real pretty, but that's not what mother of pearl actually is supposed to look like.
Different shape too. These are different shape.
Yep.
These are not trapezoid.
You know what? I never even noticed that.
Different shape.
Good catch. There's the trapezoid and
rectangle.
These are rectangles and squares.
Yeah.
So nice catch.
This one.
Take a look at that. Take a look at that. And can you hold up the SG there for a sec?
The G.
Compared to that, that's real. That is, even that will not escape Gibson quality control. Some stuff does, but that wouldn't. So it's the truss rod. Let's show them what we found when we opened that up. This is hilarious. You're gonna love this. Get a look at this. There is no way that is coming out. Now, what did you say you saw when you got in there, Nick?
That you go in with the Allen, the wrench on this one. That's a totally different truss rod thing. End. That's like a Fender style. The Gibson style, the genuine Gibsons come out, and you need a different kind of Allen key to use an Allen key to go in there, but the other ones use something different.
And there's no way that is coming out of the Gibson factory looking like that.
No, it's the wrong kind of truss rod.
Everything in there. This is unfinished. It's just a disaster. The other thing here is this is a veneer. That is not a maple cap. Gibsons always put maple caps. Now this one here, you see that line right here? That's where the mahogany and the maple get sandwiched together. That is what it'll look like. Now a lot of the Gibsons, they've got the trim around the edge so you don't actually see the side of the maple cap, but this is a veneer. And it looks really pretty. There's nothing wrong with it. But again, it's not what would come on a Gibson guitar. Gibsons do not use veneers. Couple of other things, and we don't get to see it with this one. On most of the Gibson guitars, if you can see the wood on the back of the neck, you're going to see a scarf joint right here. You'll see a half moon shape on the back of the neck, and that is where two pieces of wood have been put together to build the neck. Gibsons are always a one-piece neck. Always, without exception. The headstock has two pieces. Actually, headstock's made out of three pieces. Right on the very ends, right there, and right there, you can see where they've put an extra piece of wood for the wings. That's authentic Gibson, but it is a one-piece neck all the time. The body will also be a one-piece neck. And with the colors of the guitars that you can see the wood grain, if you look down at the bottom of the Chinese guitars, you will see where it's several pieces of wood put together. And that just simply is not authentic Gibson either. Have I missed a bunch of stuff? Absolutely. Tear out the insides, the electronics. Yep. You'll notice the difference immediately.
In here, they have small pots instead of the big ones from Gibson. They're tiny and cheap looking.
Yeah. And but there's a million different things that will tell you that this is not an authentic Gibson. I've just gone over a few of the most common things that you can just glance at the guitar and know instantly that you're not getting the real deal. The only reason I'm doing this is because I hate to see people get ripped off, and somebody almost got ripped off. So
almost paid $1,000 for a $250 guitar.
And $1,000 is a lot of money, buddy.
It is, yeah. For a $250 guitar, it is.
Damn right it is. So, yes, I know I've missed a whole bunch of other stuff. Feel free to add to this if you want to. But there you go. Be informed when you're buying used Gibsons, because there are a boatload of these absolutely stunning, beautiful Gibson Les Pauls out there that are not the real deal. Thank you very much.